Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In this video we're talking about 3DS, GameCube and Wii, Steam and more. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off here talking about Nintendo 3DS emulation with Citra, and this is pretty big news. Citra just released their progress report from 2020 to 2023. Basically, everything they've done over the last 3 years is in this report. Now, we're just taking a look at things at a really high level here. If you wanted to check out things in detail, I'll drop a link to this page in the description below, and I do recommend checking it out. There's a ton of information in here, and it's very well written. The first thing in this report is implementing basic re-recording features. If you're a fan of tool-assisted runs, you might be a fan of this feature. They've also implemented reverse interlace 3D, which helps keep the 3D effect working on a whole bunch of different 3D monitors. Custom folders for SDMC and NAND directories are supported, and this will help you if you're strapped for space. They have made improvements to their OpenGL backend. They added in a 3GX plugin loader and the nearest neighbor texture filter, better support for picture-in-picture custom layouts, automatic plug-and-play controller binding, a whole bunch of Android stuff, including adding a disk shader cache, Cheats GUI, and support for custom textures. They've also made Citra more accurate. There's been updates to themes, separate windows if you're on PC, and a whole bunch more. And towards the bottom of this progress report is a surprise announcement that I think a lot of people are going to be excited about. Vulkan. Yes, they are working on the Vulkan backend. And yes, it's going to be very good. And if you are on Android, you might want to hold on to your seat for this part of the Vulkan announcement. They say, please note that this feature is still very much a work in progress, but initial tests have been very promising already. With some configurations, performance in games has more than doubled, with Android devices receiving a significant speed up, especially those using a Mali GPU. So if you are on Android, whether you've got an Adreno GPU or a Mali GPU, you might want to pay close attention to Citra because good things are on the horizon. As soon as I know more, you'll know more, but be patient with the development team here, they're working hard. And speaking about working hard and stuff that's on the horizon, next up we're talking about GameCube and Wii emulation with Dolphin. And today Dolphin announced that Dolphin is headed to Steam. In my opinion, this is absolutely huge. It's great for Dolphin and emulation. It's going to grow the community, it's going to give the community better exposure, and it's going to help legitimize emulation in general. If you are curious about this one, I'll drop a link to the Dolphin Emulator Steam page in the description below where you can add it to your wish list. And speaking about legitimizing emulation, next up we're talking about Denuvo, who seems to want to do the exact opposite of it. If we take a look at this tweet from Denuvo today, they say, what dangers game emulation brings to the gaming industry. How can you, a developer, be impacted, and how can you prevent it from negatively affecting your business? Download our free ebook, and the ebook is titled The Threats of Emulation to Developers. Are you worried enough? In my opinion, I think Denuvo has their priorities mixed up just a little bit. I mean, if I was a game developer, I would be much more concerned about Denuvo having performance impacts on my game and pissing off customers, resulting in far less sales, more so than emulation. Emulation does not equal piracy. And if you want to talk about piracy, there are games with Denuvo that have been pirated and widely distributed. And speaking about performance loss, next up we're talking about The Last of Us Part 1 on PC. We had talked about this one in last night's video, hoping that it was going to be verified day one on the Steam Deck, considering it was showcased on Steam Deck's website. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it is verified on Steam Deck, at least I'd argue it's not, and it doesn't even look like it should be verified for PC based on these Steam reviews. There are a large number of people complaining about performance issues and crashing issues with this game on PC, and a lot of people are saying it's not a very good PC port at all. I would argue, and probably not even have to argue very hard, that this is super unfortunate news for The Last of Us. And taking a look at a lot of these reviews, a lot of them have under 2 hours of playtime, which means they may be eligible for a Steam refund. And I think it's possible to refund the game and then pick it up later after it may have been patched. But moving on, and still talking about Steam, and arguably still bad news for some people. If you are using Steam and you've got Windows 7, 8, or 8.1, you might want to consider upgrading to Windows 10 or 11 before the year is out. It appears that Steam will stop working on Windows 7 and 8 next year. If for some reason you don't believe me, the official quote from Valve says, as of January 1st, 2024, Steam will officially stop supporting the Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 8.1 operating systems. After that date, the Steam client will no longer run on those versions of Windows. In order to continue running Steam and any games or other products purchased through Steam, users will need to update to a more recent version of Windows. I'm certain many of you are aware Microsoft doesn't even support Windows 7, 8, or 8.1 anymore. And Fortnite is also doing something similar to Steam. They're requiring Windows 10 or higher. Now, I don't blame Steam at all for this one. There's a lot of software out there, and I mean a lot, including some emulators that will no longer work on Windows 7, 8, or 8.1. Their hands are all kind of tied. Microsoft has the reasons on why they're no longer supporting 7, 8, or 8.1. Next up, we're talking about E3, and E3's situation goes from bad to worse. Sega, Tencent, and even more publishers have dropped out, and there's not a whole lot remaining. At this point in time, I don't have a full list of who actually is going to be there and who's left. I think Konami is still there, and I'm not quite sure if they're going to bring a whole bunch of pachinko machines or not to try to fill the floor up. But at the same time here, E3 appears to be struggling pretty mightily. I think that this might be one of the last years we see E3, or E3 at least in its current iteration. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And last up here, we're talking about Zelda, Tears of the Disney's Magic Kingdom. And today Nintendo had about a 10-minute gameplay demo of the game, and things are looking interesting. It appears that crafting is going to be a major focus, and you can have meat arrows. So on top of Nintendo saying development is complete for the game, they also unveiled the Zelda themed Switch, which I think looks incredible. On top of that, here is the Zelda themed Pro Controller and Zelda Switch case. So interestingly enough, all of the leaked images and rumors were actually true. I've still got some more stuff to talk about, but in the interest of time here, and plus I'm exhausted, I'll talk about that stuff tomorrow. Anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely any of it in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.